My name is Dr. Linda Thomas, and I've been asked to talk about what it means to be a Black woman at this time and in this particular season. It's a great time to be alive, and it is a great time to be a Black woman. This is Black women's time. We are the people who make the difference at the ballot box. We made a major difference in some key elections this past year as it relates to Black Lives Matter. It was 3 queer Black women who started that movement. So being a Black woman means being tied to the community. And I am a womanist, which means that I'm anti-oppressionistic. Any kind of oppression that anyone experiences, be it transgender women, unmarried women, whatever it is that someone is suffering, I'm always leaning on God and trying to reach out my hand and support, not only of individuals, but in changing structures. Being a Black woman is a powerful way to be made in God's image. And I like to say that if I'm made in God's image, God looks like me, I look like God, and that's powerful.
What does it mean for me to be an African American woman in America? Really is, I keep my faith close. I depend on the faith that God has given me to get through anything. Having a strong spiritual background has helped me tremendously along my journey. Just a little bit about my background. My grandmother, she was from Arkansas, and she was a single mother, came to Chicago, and lived with my aunts and uncles on the south side of Chicago in an impoverished neighborhood. It was 9 of them, but she was strong, and that strength trickled down to my mother and I. What I learned from the both of them is that no matter how bad your surroundings are, if you keep God first, focus on education and the gifts that God has given you, which could be many, there's nothing you can't do. And there is no escaping the racial injustice that I personally witnessed. But I believe that my spiritual background and being active in the music ministry in my community has helped me. God has given me the strength to go about my day and just face whatever challenges I may come up with in my spirituality and in my life. I love being an African American woman, from the way our hair, rhythm, our clothes, just African American culture has been the heartbeat of this country, and I couldn't be more proud.
I am Dr. Apu Seyenkulo, physical therapist living in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was raised on the south side of Chicago with 2 ELCA pastors as parents. So between going to my mom's church on Sunday and my dad's church the next Sunday, we often were surrounded by individuals that ensured that we were loved and we were building great core values. I found my calling in serving others. So being a physical therapist, I often find myself putting my needs to the side, ensuring that somebody else's health and wellness is the top priority for me as well as them. Being an African American female in the healthcare field, I often find that my coworkers do not look like me. Because I am in a minority, it is important for me to recognize that just because my coworkers don't look like me, that does not mean my patients don't look like me. Oftentimes, African Americans feel that their healthcare needs and concerns are not met by healthcare providers. It is important for me, as an African American female of faith, to ensure that I am advocating for these people, having conversations with other healthcare providers, and also giving the best service that I possibly can to my patients, regardless of what they look like, what their values are, or where they come from.
What it means to be Black in the United States is not monolithic. And that in particular is because even in the Black identity, there are so many subcategories. There's different bodies of the diaspora being represented here in the United States, and how we relate and move very much looks different and can be experienced differently. Though I will say, of course, there are some general similarities. A lot of that obviously deals with racism. But again, depending on where in the United States you are and the people that you grew up with, that in itself could look vastly, vastly different in the way that you relate to people and empathize with people as well. I guess for myself, as someone who's also lived abroad briefly, I'm constantly reminded that being Black in the United States or being a Black American is consistently being othered, both globally and domestically. I've had these experiences of people asking me where I'm from, and when I say the United States, it's like, no, but where are you from? As if my 5-6 generations back Americanism is not accounted for because of the color of my skin. I guess for me, how this relates to my faith or how this informs my faith, it just really enhances hospitality and grace. I say hospitality because constantly in scripture we see stories of people being strangers in foreign land. And even though, again, I can go back 5-6 generations, the reality is that I will always be looked upon as other. And so how do I make sure I embody that so other people don't feel othered in my faith tradition, in my church, in my life, right? I think also it just reinforces the importance of grace, because constantly we see God aligning God's self with the other, with the disenfranchised, with the marginalized, and constantly advocating for ways to promote equity and dignity amongst all people. And so my faith is inspired by that, by being reminded that God is very much with me, with people that look like me, with people that don't look like me. And that's beautiful.